Hi guys, Dr. Simon Hill here, and today I want to talk about accountability. I think I've already talked about this on a couple of occasions before, but I think it just really requires some thought and hopefully some implementation from you to get it right and to make sure that you can help yourself and get to your goals. Accountability, I'm sure you're already aware, is all about holding yourself to account in terms of the decisions you make or the decisions you don't make, because it's about focusing and ensuring that you get to the achievements, the goals, the objectives that you seek to arrive at. Now, whether those are short-term objectives, the next couple of days or the next couple of hours, or they're more long-term, weeks, months, years, you still need to have some internal accountability, because you know that, okay, I've made this commitment, and as I've talked about in the past, Jocko Willink uses the words decisively engaged to kind of commit to something that is very difficult to get out of. But there are multiple different ways of kind of supporting accountability, because inevitably we are very good at procrastinating, finding other things to do. Oh, I'll do this today rather than do that. I need to go and do some work rather than go and do my exercise. And of course, we make excuses for ourselves, and it's easy to do. And again, I'm not immune to this myself. There are many things that I put off. But one of the reasons that this kind of came to my mind this week is that, as I think I've mentioned in previous videos, I'm in the process of buying another buy-to-let property, and the excitement of viewing properties and putting in offers and doing a little bit of negotiation and hopefully getting to that kind of final point where an offer is accepted is super exciting. But then there is this, oh my God, this feeling of, right, okay, now I've really got to put my money where my mouth is to actually get this over the line. And for any of you that have ever bought a house, particularly within the UK, I can't say necessarily for other areas of the world, buying houses is time consuming and it is very long-winded. Understandably so, because in most cases, it's a very high commitment. Usually you're buying with a mortgage, and therefore it's not just you at risk, it's the bank that's lending you the money. So you have to make sure you get solicitors involved to make sure all the legal obligations are covered, because many properties, again, certainly in the UK, have things like leaseholds that you have to consider. There's covenants you have to consider. If you've got an old coal mine underneath your house, then that's something that needs to be considered. And I put things off. I kind of got to that excitement of getting the offer accepted, and I was like, oh, right, okay, I can kind of let off now. And it took a prompt yesterday from the estate agent for me to kind of say, oh shit, I need to pull myself together now. I need to get this done. So soon as that phone call came in, I was like, oh yeah, I felt embarrassed. I was embarrassed to kind of say to, oh yeah, it's all in hand, when it wasn't in hand. I was lying to myself, I was lying to them to an extent. And so I was like, right, I have to get myself in order here. So as soon as I did that, got in touch with a solicitor, got the money paid to them to get all the searches and things sorted. Spoke to my mortgage advisor, got all that fee paid so that the mortgage application could move forward. But why was that? Well, it's because there was the peer pressure that this person that had called me initially had kind of said, oh yeah, have you done that? And I think this is really important for businesses, but it's again really important for personal development. For businesses, if you were relying on other people, particularly members of the public, as estate agents are, because buying, selling, they've got many buyers that they're having to manage, it is really important for them to pick the phone up and not just email, but pick the phone up, have a personal conversation and say, oh, is everything going okay? Is there anything we can help with? Because that creates pressure. It certainly creates pressure in my head, And this is not the first time this has happened either. I know the last property I bought, again, the estate agent kept poking me, and it was annoying, but at the same time, it got me to move. And that's what I need, to get things done sometimes. And I find my father's very good for that. But also, I know it's what many of you need to get things done. That constant kind of just poke. So, think about how can you get that poke? Who can you get that poke, that reminder from? Well, as I've probably mentioned before, I run some coaching sessions with a number of clients, and that is kind of my job. I help poke other people to make sure that, okay, you've committed to doing this over the next week, the next 2 weeks. Have you achieved that goal? And if you haven't, then, sometimes with some of my clients, we have penalty systems where, if you don't do something you say you're going to do, it's going to cost you, often financially. So, having a big enough pain in the back of your head of, okay, I need to get this thing done, can be very beneficial to getting these things done. It might be that pain's not big enough. If you're, whatever the value of the penalty is that big enough? Or is it actually that the pain of this penalty is smaller than the pain of doing the task that you've aimed to achieve, and therefore you've got to readdress that balance. You make this pain bigger, or you try and focus on making this task easier in some way. So whether that's reframing it and thinking, okay, I've got to do this, and this. Well, actually, if I do this, that's going to give me some degree of happiness. There's going to be some degree of achievement there. I'll get this out of this. It's focusing on the good bits, because, we've always, I've always said it that, and there's a classic phrase of, every cloud has a silver lining. It's not good when it's cloudy out there, but if it is cloudy, if it is raining, that means, the plants are greener, the flowers are, more beautiful. There is always a positive frame to look at and something that's gone on negative. And we can say that for some of the most extreme things in life as well. So whatever it is that you are trying to achieve, get some accountability, A, personally, but B, get somebody else involved. Whether that's me, again, happy to help if you want some help, get in touch. But if you, other people as well, speak to your parents, speak to your friends, speak to your family, and find somebody that will hold you to account. Have you done that really hard thing? Now, I generally find, if it was my family, if I did this with my mum, it would be a non-starter, because my mum is, she's one of my biggest fans, and she will let me off anything. I could do many things as she would, she'd still just go, oh, that's okay, you can do that. My dad, on the other hand, much more strict, and he, not that he's unpleasant, but he will hold me to, if I ask him to hold me to account, have you done this, have you done that, then he will do it. So find somebody in your life that will do it. But again, if you want somebody that's perhaps less biased, like your family might be, then again, feel free to get in touch with me directly on here. Drop me a comment or whatever, and or connect with me on LinkedIn, and we can have a chat. So that's it from me this week. Find somebody to keep you accountable, because keeping yourself accountable is really, really difficult. As always, any comments, thoughts, ideas, if you're interested in some accountability coaching, pop your details in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you next week.